Alright. Yeah, well, we're getting a good. We got a little bounce here, but it looks like it's coming back. So all of these positive ones, I could take. And it was Zoom was like the grocery store. Yep, that's what it's like now. Yep. Okay. So I can reduce my risk and lock in some profit. It's just not that much profit. Just wondering what I want to do here. And I've only got 25 minutes to really add any trades. So it's probably just best for me to hold on here and see how it does. Apologize for the interruptions with my running to the bathroom and then we'll leave paper class, but if paper works out better. Davis says I can't even watch. Salvio's not working. Oh, darn. Okay, so hello again. Hello. Yeah, my Alveo was giving me troubles this morning. I just thought I'd let you know. Yeah. Oh, good old Neil Diamond. There's that quote on What About Bob? It says, what did he say? He says, there's only two kinds of people in this world. Those who like Neil Diamond and those who don't. All right, we're gonna have to wait this thing out here. It's interesting the the dollar did pull back quite a bit. The dollar yen here, but now it's kind of bouncing off that low again, created a higher low. Quite the volatility though. I mean, that's a 30, 40, almost 50 pip swing right there. So I caught that move right in there, went up a little bit more and it came all the way down 50 pips. Now it's bouncing back 25 pips again. So that's why you got to be careful with the yen at times. But with the challenge here, so I've got this challenge account that we're just gonna have to wait on. What is the reward again on this one? Is it a 25? A 25 pipper? $25 one? Yeah, it's a $25. I think that'll put me over 3,100 if I pass this one then on the skills challenge. And I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for the, yeah, it's a 25. I'm still waiting for the hedge fund, but I expect I'll be one of the last ones since I'm an instructor and they want to get everybody else squared away. Well, maybe I should have taken it when it was at 5 pips. Then I could have got rebought back in before the top of the hour here. But I don't know if 100 pips is gonna. Well, that's $10,000 account. It's only got 12 trades on. 0.24 isn't too bad. Yeah, that's only 2.5%. I wouldn't pass the challenge though if it ends up reversing here on the daily. I'm counting on the fact. I'm counting on the fact that the euro made this huge move from this spot here. We're in the same area that we were yesterday, but the thing is it came all the way down, tried to break this low, right? So this pivot, apiary pivot should be transferred over to here after today's candle is finished. It's what it's waiting for is it's still possible. It's not probable, but it's still possible that this candle could just break that low. And then we'd have to wait for the next day to see if the that would be the pivot low, and then that would switch over to this candle. But it's waiting for today's candle to end, and then this little apiary pivot will switch to right there. Just you'll watch that. You can see that happen there. Oh wow, Nasdaq. Nasdaq is still rallying. S&P rallying. I'd like to see gold rally, but gold's struggling today. It's kind of strange. Silver's got a pretty good rally going. Hello, my friends. Hello. All right, so let's go back here. The thing is if by the top of the hour it still doesn't come down to a decent point, I'm probably just going to leave it. I'm not going to add another layer here, so even if it comes down to here, I want to give it enough cushion. I've got my, I've got all of these stops at 100 pips, and so 0.24 at 100 pips is $240. $240 on a $10,000 account's 2.5%. That's my max loss. I don't want to go more than that. But on the other side of the coin, it doesn't matter if I hit more than that because chances are I'm not going to make it up by the end of the week. And so if it does come down to minus 10, you know, another 10 pips off this layer within the next 20 minutes, uh, you know, that meet the criteria, within the European Open, then I'll add another layer. And I'll be risking more than the 2.5. But yeah, this is looking good. I'll take a big candle like this off the low here. But for now, it's just a matter of waiting. And if it does come back up to here, then I've hit my $100 target for the week. And then tomorrow is just about placing some very small 0.013 trades and then closing them after half an hour, as long as they stay within that $100 target. So that's the idea with this particular account. If I were in my skills account, I was gonna say, if I was in my skills account, I'd probably start going long again here on this dollar. Ooh, NASDAQ and S&P making huge rallies right now. Hmm. Yes, the CME's exchange rate is increasing. Okay, let's see here. Should we do some scalping off of this? Look at the hour chart, and it pretty much made a it pretty much made a price cycle move. You can see it's a little bit below the price cycle line, and then it moved all the way back up that price cycle. So that's that's the P3 method right there, looking for those moves where we've got, say, in the middle of this price cycle line, got one price cycle, two price cycles, three, 3.5, and then it did bounce one price cycle here. So we're no longer in that kind of overextension, like to be a buyer right here, because then it could go another three price cycles against the grain here. But that's the idea when we see the market like this. When you see that, that's an overextension. Even if the downward trend continues, um, we should get a price cycle move back in our direction here, whether it's profit taking or just taking a breath. Buyers trying to push it back up, and then the sellers jump right back in, and we see what's going on. So this would be a spot. It's like, okay, well, if it's going to go down another uh, price cycle, I mean, it's already made a big move to the downside, but you can see that the dollar yen has a tendency to have big range days, particularly to the downside, like this, like that one there, that one there, that one over here. So today, it's probably within the range, but it's still not quite, it might not be done, right? So starting a long trade right now is after these price cycle movements. It could come down another 60, 70 pips if it wanted to. So being a buyer here probably isn't the, the best probability. It's probably an okay probability, but wow, wow, whoa. Okay. All right. Well, let's see what the arrow's doing again. Back on the challenge counts. Not good. Not good. Got some indecision. Do we have any more news happening? Not really. I mean, Bank of Canada has some, but the rest of the day is going to be relatively quiet. So, a nice little bounce off of that low air. Oh, here comes baby. Oh, you got pancake. You got bedhead too. He likes coming in. He knows where I'm at. It's the best age. He's 19 months. It's a great age. We've had a lot of health issues and financial ups and downs, even though, we've made trading work. I was planning on staying at Fidelity for a while, but my health kind of caused me to leave earlier than I thought. And so wasn't able to build up my trading capital as much as I'd wanted to. But so my wife and I have had we've been through the ringer, and then our Freddie with his heart surgeries and whatnot. But life is good when you have the innocence and purity of cute little babies. Love my babies. So anyway, it's also interesting that pray for relief and for solutions for health, health to be restored and all that kind of stuff. And you don't think that God's really answering, but he answers just in ways you don't really want. It's just not the answers that we want. But I read an article this morning that really like comforted my soul. Just a different way of looking at things, and I'm like, that's so true. That waiting for the Lord isn't the same as waiting on the Lord. You know, waiting on the Lord's almost like being a server. Like a server that waits on you. So it's like, well, while you're waiting for the Lord, why don't you wait on the Lord? Why don't you serve Him, do His work, serve others, think about others? That's true waiting on the Lord. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. That's a way I'd never even thought. So that's what we're trying to do. And part of that is having having and rearing children, I think. So And yeah, it's over the years, Mark, you're absolutely right. One huge silver lining, huge blessing in being, you know, chronically ill for so long is that I've been able to be at home raising my kids and the younger ones, that's all they know. Hey, buddy, here he is again. What you up to? Hmm? Why don't you go watch your show? Uh-huh. It's not that good. You want a different one? Maurice keeps faith, God, a better plan. I believe that. I think that he does. Appreciate that. Okay, well, if this comes down, I've only got 6 minutes to place a, really 5 minutes to place another position here. If they could get down a little bit lower, I really wouldn't mind. I really wouldn't mind adding another position, but it has to be in order to count towards the $100. I'm really, really tempted to do it because then I wouldn't need to have the targets way up there. I could bring the targets right here. So I'm gonna give it all the way to well, if it comes down to this price cycle right here, I'm gonna do it. So it just needs to come down a few more pips. Just not just not sure if it's gonna do it. I might find a rally right here, right now. Yep. Darn, if it would have gone just another 3 pips, I could have grabbed another layer and then had a rally like this, that would really help. Because then we would have been able to bring down the targets a bit. Larry's in 3 buys. That's good. At the top of the hour, it might be testing right here at the top of the hour. It might, come all the way down like this. Maybe try to hold this spot or maybe come back down to this pivot, this midpoint. But at this point, I'm just going to be waiting for hopefully the rest of the day or into tonight to get a rally. We'll just have to see. But all the trades are in place. All the trades were meeting the criteria so far, and so far so good. We're up 0.5% on the week. Just have to be patient, and that's one of the things that the challenge is teaching is patience. Be having to be in a trade for 30 minutes when it's at times it's better to be out a lot sooner. So, but in the rest of our trading, when it comes to that other skills account, because I mentioned earlier this week when I was doing the challenge, skills challenge class on Monday. I think most of you were there, but that basically in the challenge account here, we're working on one particular challenge. Maybe, two or three, as far as like patience and whatnot. But when you're trading in the skills account and your hedge fund account, you have to employ multiple skills and you have to be cognizant of what the market's giving you and what strategies to employ at any given time, right? And so um, I had some short trades that I've been waiting on for several days uh, to come down. They didn't. The patience of having to be up quite a bit in a position. So let's just talk the psychology here really quick before we end. Being in the positive, and it was probably 3% positive. And I was asleep. Obviously I have my targets right here. Wasn't watching it. And had I been watching it, I probably would have uh, expected that candle to continue and not rally all the way back. I was not expecting that anyway, so I probably wouldn't have done anything about it. But anyway, but when it came back up to here and I went from being up 3% to down 3%, you know, how do you deal with that psychologically? You know, and part of it was, well, I'm within this pivot still, and I'm willing to risk another percent to to see if it just stays within that pivot and just not worry about the trade at this point. And in this case, it worked out in our favor. We were able to make quite a bit. We made all the way all uh if we take a look at that stats page, let me see if I have my stats page up. I think I do. I was looking at it the other day. Yeah, there it is. Let's take a look at this stats page here. So this is of the skills challenge, my skills challenge since the beginning. Since they started it in the beginning of December, right? So I have 868 trades, started at just 25, made some money at the very, very beginning, and then I had a couple of losses. Uh, I was expecting the dollar yen to continue down and the euro yen. You can see those trades, those pairs, euro yen, euro yen, euro yen, dollar yen, dollar yen. You can see that. That's really cool. On the previous thing, you couldn't see that. Um, like what trade on the equity curve is causing it to go down, right? And then here's the euro yen come back, dollar yen, make some money. But anyway, so this pullback right in here was just that recent pullback here, and I peaked around that 3,000 mark, and now we're back up at 3,075. So we're higher than it was right in here. There's no need to panic when your trades don't work out, right? There's no need to panic down in this area. So uh, going back to the charts here. So, losing some trades right in here. I think it was right in here, and we went against this. I'm expecting this downward move. Keeps going against this. But at this point, um, I still think it could come down a bit, but we made a really great trade to recover all those losses plus a little bit more, and we're steadily moving up as you can see on that equity curve. So from the beginning of December, that skills challenge started at 2,500. Um, and now what is that? With the challenges, I guess I should look up the challenges because the majority of that is my trading, but we do have a good chunk of challenge contribution to that. So let's see, there was a 25 passed, 25 passed, $100 for the Christmas ones. That's 150. And those two passed since the beginning of December. So about $200 of that is from the skills, from the challenge account. So that really does help because that's almost that, yeah, that $200 on that, it's almost 10% of it. So really my trading is probably, well, let's just do the math. We're at 3,075, so 2,875 minus 2,500. Duh. I know what that is. That's just 375. So divided by 2,500. Yeah, so 15%. So my personal trading on that skills account is up 15% since the beginning of December when that account opened up. Not too shabby. I'll take it. Right. Yeah, the beginning of December. November 30th is the first trade. So that's fun. And then you've got the challenge accounts that add that extra $200. I mean, that's an additional 7.5%, right? $200 on 250. 2,500 that is. 200 divided by 2,500. 8%, additional 8%. So between my trading and the challenges reward, the rewards with the challenges, that skills account is up 23% since the beginning of December. It's pretty cool. I like it. That's probably the best results of any of my accounts the last 2 months. Although I did pass the f first phase of so I was working on an E8 funding account with my Trading Buddy group. And right before Christmas, I failed it. So it was like the week before Christmas, the one that I was working on, I failed. And then I'm like, should I wait until the new year to start another one? Should I not start another one? I need to figure out because I was mentioning to that group that I spent, I think I was like six. I paid for like six different challenges last year and failed them all. So that was like 4 grand out of my pocket that um, that I didn't get any return on. In 22, I had probably just as many failed, but I also had a funded one that I did pass and got funded and made some of that back. I probably was net negative 1,000 in 2022. And in 2021, I don't think I had, was it 2020? Well, the year's all blurring together now, but uh, I had an FTMO account that I made some good money on when I was, but overall, the last 4 years, I'm net negative on some of those challenge accounts. So anyway, last year I was trying to figure out at the end of the year, I was like, why did I do so many accounts and not pass one of them? I didn't even pass one of the phases. That's how bad I did so bad last year on those accounts. And I'm like, well, I don't get it. There's something about, and I mentioned this to my traders, there's something about MetaTrader 4 and Alveo that causes me to overtrade or to get more aggressive at spots that I shouldn't. Like particularly with the NASDAQ when I'm trading MetaTrader 4 or 5. The NASDAQ, it's like one contract on that. If it goes against you, that's rough. And I would be getting into like 12 contracts. They'd be giving me that much. And I'd be in 12 contracts at one point, and it goes 25, 25 points against you, and that's only $500 on one contract, but that's 6,000 on 12 contracts. And so that's a hefty price to pay if you're wrong just by 25 points. Whereas on my futures trading account, where I made money last year, made money from my family and for my mother-in-law and sister-in-law, I would just do one contract all the time. I rarely traded more than one contract on the NASDAQ ever. Just some weird disconnect with my brain. And so when I started the new one, the new A8 funding, I'm like, I need to get back to my roots. I need to get back to how I trade with, you know, my other futures account, the one that I trade successfully, and not allow not allow the temptation to, to cause me to go overboard when it comes to the over trading and whatnot. And I was successful at that. I passed last week the first phase. Now this week I've I've executed well. I've just been dead wrong on the direction, and so I'm really close to getting to failing the challenge, having to start over a new one. But I'm like, but at least I passed the challenge, the first phase. I've passed the first phase. I passed my um, I passed my own test on why I was failing last year, and I'm much more confident about getting a funded one back up and running, and then being able to have a good month, because I've made 8, 9 grand in a day before and been able to take out that money, and then it pays for all the last year's worth of challenges. It pays for all of it, on one day once you get funded. Um, so I'm just working towards that on some outside accounts, and then just plugging away on some of my other ones. I'm just holding on to some trades um, in the grain market and bonds and silver and gold, but they've not been. It's been not been a fun ride this month so far. So health wise and trading wise, it's been a bumpy start to 2024 for me, but no worries. We're just going to keep plugging away and that's why we stick to risk rules and you know, stick to our process, because in the long run, we'll come out ahead. So yeah, gotta stay positive. So Larry says, what prop firm do you like the best? Well, right now I'm doing the E8 funding. It's called E8. So the letter E, the number 8 funding. I actually heard about it from one of our fellow traders and someone who was working with Sean on the MetaStreet when we were working on the not MetaStreet the MetaStreet, the virtual reality stuff when we were working on all that. He brought that up to my